On the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively thing?
Bro, Blake Lively, talk about ruin your reputation, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, they fucked up.
So Joe Rogan just entered the chat, and he is team Justin Baldoni.
Joe Rogan just entered the chat, and he is team Justin Baldoni. Joe Rogan just obliterated Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds with one brutal word on his podcast.
Joe Rogan becomes the latest celebrity to blast Blake Lively and Ryan.
He didn't flinch as he exposed their manipulative tactics to wreck Justin Baldoni's life, both financially and emotionally.
Justin's physical and mental well-being was severely impacted.
Now with the truth coming out, it's finally their turn to face the consequences. Joe Rogan just walked into the chat like it's a UFC main event, and he's ready to take heads off. No gloves, no filter, just fire. And guess who's in the crosshairs? Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, the so-called Hollywood darlings who just got metaphorically thrown off their pedestal by a man with more reach than their entire PR teams combined.
The latest personality celebrity to come forward and defend sweet Justin Baldoni, calling out Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, saying they effed.
We're talking 14.5 million Spotify listeners, 16.4 million subscribers on YouTube, and 18.9 million Instagram followers. That's not a voice. That's an earthquake. And Joe didn't whisper his thoughts. He shouted them. This isn't some gossip-level celebrity drama. This is Joe Rogan publicly calling BS on Hollywood's favorite couple for trying to hijack the Me Too movement. Not for justice, but for control.
Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit. And they're like, you are a key part of this.
This is what you get, though. This is what you get. You're trying to fucking ruin a guy's livelihood by using the meat.
Oh, yeah, he's not sugarcoating a damn thing. He looked right at Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and basically said, "You're not champions of feminism. You're just playing puppet master." The nerve. The absolute audacity. And then you've got Brendan Schaub sitting there, co-signing the entire thing like he's watching the downfall of the Roman Empire in real time.
Movie.
Yeah.
They were trying to take over the movie and the whole franchise. He owned the franchise.
He owned the franchise. Schaub confirms exactly what everyone in the industry has been whispering about. Blake and Ryan aren't innocent. They're calculated. They're the ones pulling strings, creating chaos, and throwing Justin Baldoni under the bus to steal control of a damn film. Now, Rogan didn't come into this like, hey, let's explore both sides.
No.
The man came in disgusted. You could feel it. This wasn't a let's talk about it moment. It was a full-blown public execution. And honestly, it was long overdue.
Couple books.
Fuck.
The whole thing's crazy.
They're fucked.
And he's suing the New York Times, and he's got a great case.
He's going hard in the paint. But that's
should.
what it takes.
That's what it takes.
It's like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's like, all right.
Yeah.
He did for the boys.
Exactly.
Let's talk about this fraudulent little feminism card Blake Lively keeps pulling. Like, she's the underdog in a courtroom drama she wrote herself. She literally claimed Justin Baldoni walked in on her while she was breastfeeding, as if it was some creepy, violating moment. Sounds terrible, right? Except she texted him to come in. Yes, she literally invited him, told him to walk in. That's not speculation. That's in writing.
Remember? How about she told him to come into the dressing room while she was breastfeeding? And then part of the complaint was that he came into the dressing room while I was breastfeeding. Like, you literally have a text exchange back.
That's not just hypocrisy, it's comedy. Joe Rogan put it best when he said, "You can't cry wolf after sending the wolf an invite." That line alone deserves a standing ovation. So let me get this straight, Blake. You tell the man to come in, then you act traumatized because he did what you asked? That's not victimhood. That's manipulation 101.
They just knew but he was going to come out with the receipts.
Because no one's ever done it, because everyone's just bounced
everyone.
And the worst part, she plays the oppressed woman while simultaneously running the damn production like she's the CEO of shady business tactics. That's like the mafia claiming workplace harassment. Oh no. He looked at me weird. Meanwhile, she's the one holding the power lever.
To assert control over Justin Baldoni, destroy his life. Essentially, it was destroying his family, his health, and everything.
And don't even get me started on her ridiculous claims that tone, sarcasm, and negative energy were workplace abuse. Someone was sarcastic near you? That's not harassment. That's called being on a movie set where people have personalities. What's next? Filing a lawsuit because someone rolled their eyes too hard.
That bunch of fabrication and lies, and then you see the control that she took over the movie. And I just don't see how any of these reporters are coming to that conclusion other than they are just trying to meet some type of a...
This entire charade has been treated with kid gloves by mainstream media because Blake is, of course, Blake. Famous, blonde, married to Mr. Sarcastic Internet Poster Boy. That's all it takes, apparently, for people to throw their brains out the window and blindly believe everything she says. But now that the actual evidence, and I mean real, tangible, time-stamped evidence is coming out, people are starting to go, wait, what the hell is this? Selective outrage, much?
Defaming Justin around Hollywood, strong-arming into dropping Justin as a client and trying to destroy Justin's...
Now let's shift to the part that really makes my blood boil. The hostile takeover of It Ends With Us. This wasn't just a diva moment. This was a straight-up coup. Blake didn't just act in the film. She took it over like she was filming House of Cards. She fired the original crew, brought in her personal team, got herself a shiny little PGA producer credit, and then, wait for it, locked Justin Baldoni out of seeing the footage. The director, the actual creator of the damn movie, locked out.
The fact that she struggles for equality, all of the struggles that she faces on behalf of trying to stand up.
Who does that? That's not just overstepping. That's dictatorship behavior. That's Blake rolling up to the set and saying, I run this now. And guess what? A composer literally confirmed she called and said those exact words. I'm running the film now, like she was announcing a regime change instead of doing her job as an actor. Joe Rogan saw through this faster than a $6 gas station poncho. He said, it's not just shady, it's Game of Thrones level power play.
But as more and more evidence has come out, you're seeing more people are siding with Justin.
But while Blake is out here firing people and controlling production like a megalomaniac, she's simultaneously crying harassment, like she's just a poor, helpless actress. Make it make sense. You can't be both the victim and the villain, especially when you're literally the one pulling the strings behind the scenes.
Grateful that she's going through this because it's making a lot of people question what, in fact, modern feminism has been.
And it's not just a moral contradiction. There are legal implications too. Because if you're calling the shots, making hiring decisions, replacing staff, and denying the actual director access to footage, then how exactly are you being harassed? You're the one in power. You're not an employee. You're acting like the boss. You're practically the HR department yourself at that point. You don't get to claim oppression when you're literally running the show. This is where the walls start closing in, because now we're looking at a woman who used the Me Too movement, a movement meant to protect real victims, to pull off a power grab and a career takeover. And Joe Rogan isn't just highlighting the hypocrisy, he's nuking it. He's saying out loud what everyone else was too scared to whisper. This isn't about feminism, it's about fame. It's about control.
Everyone's scared
Yeah.
because Ryan Reynolds A-list, Blake Lively A-list, like don't they're the queens. 20.
Like 18.
And it's about two A-listers thinking they could steamroll over someone like Justin Baldoni because they assumed he'd be too afraid to fight back. But they forgot one thing, he had receipts. And now Rogan's got a mic. And when Joe speaks, people don't just listen, they act.
Do it.
You need real motherfuckers to be like, nah, man, I ain't going out like this.
Yeah, especially a guy like that. It was like known as being like this really sweet, nice guy.
Yep.
And then it's like, all right,
Dude,
you know.
he posted the receipts.
Oh,
Technically.
So let's tally this up real quick. Blake Lively texted a man to come in, then claimed trauma when he showed up. She fired a film crew and hijacked a movie, then cried harassment. She took the role of producer, then pretended to be powerless. And all the while, Ryan Reynolds is lurking in the background like a smug puppet master, thinking he's too beloved to take a hit.
Will agree that You can't just believe someone because they make accusations, especially once the evidence shows that it's a bunch of fabrication and lies, and then you see the control that she took over.
And Ryan Reynolds really fumbled the bag, didn't he? The guy went from being everyone's favorite internet troll and lovable Deadpool to full-on Hollywood villain. Faster than you can say aviation gin. You know how wild it is to go from being the relatable king to the behind-the-scenes puppet master of a PR nightmare? Because that's exactly what's going down right now. Joe Rogan didn't just call him out gently. He yanked Reynolds out of his sarcastic little comfort zone and threw him into the fire. And guess what? Ryan deserves every bit of it.
Brandon and Joe are spot on, and it's just encouraging to see more big personalities, outlets, celebrities just talking about it realistically and not the way Blake and Hollywood is trying to speak.
Hey, let's not act like this is some innocent bystander situation. Rogan made it crystal clear. Reynolds is trying to quietly slip out of a $400 million lawsuit like he just wandered into it by accident. Like, oops, didn't mean to be part of one of the biggest legal disasters in modern Hollywood. My bad. Joe Rogan wasn't having it. He hit him with the coldest line of all. You're a key part of this. That's not shade. That's a verbal guillotine.
Trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit. Like, you're a key part of this.
This is what you get, though. This is what you get. You're trying to fucking ruin a guy's life.
Reynolds didn't just trip and fall into this mess. He allegedly helped push Justin Baldoni's career off a cliff by strong-arming WME, a major talent agency, into dropping him. Imagine having that much influence and using it not to create art or uplift voices, but to destroy someone's livelihood. This isn't quirky Deadpool energy. This is behind closed doors power play nonsense that proves Ryan isn't the relatable goofball he pretends to be. He's just another PR-obsessed suit playing Hollywood chess.
Ruin your reputation and Ryan Reynolds.
They fucked up. Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit. They're like, you're a key part of this.
This is what you get.
And oh, the internet is not letting it slide. Deadpool fans are literally burning merch. His once-loved brands, Mint Mobile and Aviation Gin, have gone into full ghost mode, like vanished without a trace. Shut the blinds. Don't answer the door energy. When your brands that are basically walking selfies of your personality, go radio silent, that's not coincidence, that's crisis mode. Reddit and X are dragging him through the digital mud, calling him Hollywood's fallen mascot. And honestly, they're being nice. The man is getting absolutely buried online, and rightfully so.
It's bratty and it needs to end. So to that, I say thank you to Blake.
But nothing hits harder than Rogan's roast. He's not Deadpool, he's Blockpool. That one line did more damage to Ryan's fake rebel persona than any tweet ever could. Blockpool, the guy who once mocked cancel culture, is now blocking critics left and right. It's pathetic. When the man who once played the most unfiltered character in cinema starts acting like a fragile influencer who can't handle being called out, yeah, we've lost the plot.
Predator Pool himself blocked me. I don't know when he blocked me. I don't know if it's when I exposed on X what happened with his daughter and Deadpool and that abhorrent things that they made.
Meanwhile, while Ryan's out here pretending he doesn't know what's going on, Justin Baldoni's over there going full beast mode with a $400 million lawsuit. Let's talk about this masterpiece of legal warfare. This isn't your average hurt feelings lawsuit. Baldoni is going nuclear with charges of defamation, false light, promissory fraud, extortion, and invasion of privacy. Basically, every dirty move Blake and Ryan allegedly made is getting exposed in court with receipts.
An amazing support that Justin is now getting from Joe Rogan on this case, and it's going to continue to get ugly as more things.
And Baldoni is not playing the Hollywood game. He's not settling in secret. He's not signing some NDA and disappearing into the shadows. Nah. He said, screw your fake deals. I'm burning this all down in public. That's what you do when you know you're right and you're not afraid of anyone's fake power. He launched a full-blown website. Yes, a website. Not just a few tweets or Instagram stories, a damn digital war room. It's got text messages, audio clips, behind-the-scenes footage, and actual crew testimonials. This isn't hearsay. It's a courtroom in HTML.
Just from last year. He spent endless hours on this project, and for it to end this way really caused him a great deal of pain, I can imagine. He lost weight, struggled with eating and sleeping, became severely depressed, constantly having to defend himself against false accusations. And again, I will also say this is good.
And Joe Rogan? He's loving every second of it. He called it what it is, a reputation scorched earth tour. Not a lawsuit, a full-on demolition of Hollywood BS. This is what happens when someone finally says, I'm done being polite.
Great, he says what he wants, he always has. But still, it's still a massive, big platform, and to see him out there talking.
Baldoni is swinging with evidence, while Blake and Ryan are out here playing the we're just innocent artists card, like anyone's buying it anymore. But let's get to the one moment that flipped everything. The exact second when Joe Rogan didn't just support Baldoni, but shifted the entire narrative. It wasn't a monologue. It wasn't a rant. It was one word: receipt.
That she took over the movie, and I just don't see how anybody, any of these reporters, are coming to that conclusion other than trying to meet some type of a.
He didn't say allegations. He didn't say his side of the story. He said receipts. That word hit harder than any press release Blake and Ryan's PR teams could ever conjure up. Because when Rogan says receipts, you know it's not a vibe, it's a verdict. That word alone turned this from gossip into gospel. Suddenly, it's not about opinions, it's about proof. It's not about sympathy, it's about facts. Rogan brought the hammer down, and the weight behind that one word dismantled an entire narrative Blake and Ryan had spent months, if not years, trying to build.
Less stars, as Joe's implying, do. Ryan and Blake, as we know, we're trying to cover this up. Ari Emanuel, all these people trying to keep this up and say, oh yeah, believe the woman, believe Blake, she's telling the truth. And it's just...
And let's not forget the icing on the cake. Rogan comparing Baldoni to Johnny Depp. That's not just a compliment. That's a full-blown passing of the underdog torch. Rogan literally says, he's doing it for the boys. That's not a throwaway line. It's a battle cry. It taps into the same cultural shift that happened when people realized Amber Heard wasn't the only victim in the room. That sometimes men get lied about. That sometimes men lose everything based on fake stories.
The whole thing's crazy. Fuck. And he's suing the New York Times. He's got a great case.
He's going hard in the paint. But
He
that's
should.
what it takes.
That's what it takes.
It's like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's like,
Baldoni is standing tall right now, not just as a guy defending himself, but as a symbol for every man who's been torn down without a voice. And Rogan knows that. That's why he didn't just talk about the case, he amplified it. He made it impossible to ignore. You've got truckers, gym bros, dads, average dudes who usually don't care about celebrity drama, now watching this unfold and going, wait, they tried to ruin a man's life over lies?
Blake Lively, who's out on South by Southwest in these dresses and changes and narrating Penguin documentaries, and Ryan's getting awards and showing up to TED Talks, Saturday Night Live. Those two are still working. They're still making it all.
Meanwhile, Blake's still out here acting like the wounded angel, and Ryan's pretending he dropped his way into this mess by accident. The gig is up. The masks are off. And when Joe Rogan drops a word like receipts into the mix, it's game over for Hollywood fakes. So while Ryan Reynolds keeps blocking people like a high schooler who got dumped, and Blake Lively continues her one-woman pity parade, Justin Baldoni is over here leading a damn movement. And he's not doing it with pity, he's doing it with proof. And that's what Hollywood's been terrified of all along.
The fact that he was having such a tough time emotionally, physically, and those photos were disturbing him. These photos, I've stared at these photos too and building all her thumbnails. It's encouraging to see, yeah, he wants.
The media really thought they could pull a fast one this time. Huh? The New York Times, the so-called paper of record, decided to play Blake Lively's personal cheerleader instead of doing, I don't know, actual journalism. Justin Baldoni didn't sit there and take it either. He straight up added the New York Times to the list of defendants in his already scorched earth $400 million lawsuit. You got to mess up real bad to land in a courtroom next to Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, but congratulations that you made it.
Struggling with eating and sleeping, became severely depressed, constantly having to defend himself against false accusations. Again, I will also say this is good. This is good to look bad. I know.
Rogan didn't hold back here either. He called it like it is. Journalism is dead, while someone just brought the shovel. And that's facts. You had a media giant willingly churning out puff pieces, parroting Blake's every word like she was reading them bedtime stories. No questions, no investigation. Just copy-paste her PR team's email and hit publish. The second Baldoni released real, verifiable evidence, screenshots, voice memos, timestamps, the whole buffet, the media didn't backtrack. They went radio silent. No retractions. No updates. No, hey, we might have gotten this wrong. Just crickets.
Mental well-being was severely impacted by this. Told Daily Mail, it's extremely disturbing for him to look back at photos of himself from last summer when all this was going on.
What's worse is that the few content creators who actually dared to speak the truth got slapped with the misogynistic label. You've got people like Andy Senior, Dave Neal, and even Rogan himself being accused of hating women because they dared to ask questions. Since when is journalism misogyny? Since when is fact-checking harassment? If you so much as doubt the Blake Lively pity parade, you're suddenly a villain. That's how twisted the narrative has gotten.
To the point where content creators, as you guys have seen, are being criticized as misogynistic just because we don't believe Blake.
Meanwhile, the internet, is doing what the mainstream media refused to. They're flipping the script in real time. Blake and Ryan's little fairy tale is crumbling faster than Ryan's aviation gin stock. Blake's out here strutting around South by Southwest like she's untouchable, while Justin's out in Hawaii trying to hold it together after a year of emotional warfare and depression.
Reality is he's going through a lot, and I got thoughts on this.
The contrast is sickening. She's out doing photo ops, while the man she tried to obliterate is in therapy, trying to process the psychological wreckage she caused.
Nailed his new surprising look last week, shortly after admitting he was exhausted from a year of emotional stress. He's been spending time with his children in Hawaii with his wife, and he debuted this edgy haircut, stark contrast from his character in the movie.
Lie and Ryan Reynolds. This man is spiraling in real time. He's blocking critics on social media like it's his full-time job. You'd think someone who spent years marketing himself as the cool, sarcastic guy who can take a joke would actually be able to handle criticism. Nope. Turns out, when the jokes are about him instead of from him, he folds like a lawn chair in a hurricane. Rogan said it best, "This isn't Deadpool anymore. This is Blockbull, Wi-Fi Warrior Edition." The man's hiding behind a mute button like it's going to save his reputation.
Ryan Reynolds. Enjoy it, my good man. Cancel culture is sneaking up on.
And it's not just trolls or randos turning on them. It's everyone. Deadpool fans are done. Feminist bloggers are asking real questions. Movie lovers who bought into the Ryan and Blake power couple fantasy are now treating them like a used-up script nobody wants to see rebooted. Even gym bros and truckers, people who couldn't care less about Hollywood drama, are tuning into Rogan's podcast and going, wait, what did they try to pull? That's how far the backlash has reached. This isn't some niche cancellation. This is a full-scale image collapse.
On the line for all the cases filed against for stealing another man.
People are calling it what it is. Manipulation wrapped in hashtags. You take a social movement built to protect real victims and twist it into your own Hollywood power grab, then act shocked when it backfires. It's disgusting. And now that the facts are out, actual facts, not Blake's bedtime sob stories, the backlash is only picking up speed. Rogan's episode lit the spark, and the internet is pouring gasoline.
Deadpool fans are done with Ryan Reynolds.
And then comes the final hit. Joe Rogan didn't just talk about this. He didn't just throw in a hot take and bounce. He changed the entire tone of the conversation. Before Rogan, this was still Blake and Ryan's show. They were getting sympathy headlines and automatic validation. But once Rogan stepped in, once he dropped that one word, receipts, everything flipped. Because receipts mean evidence. And evidence doesn't lie. Blake and Ryan expected their usual free pass, the "we're famous, so believe us" treatment, the red carpet of public opinion. What they got instead was Joe Rogan walking onto the scene with a verbal flamethrower, torching their carefully curated fantasy and exposing it for what it was, a scam, a PR stunt, a disgusting manipulation of people's trust. Now Baldoni stands where they used to, center stage, but not as a manufactured idol, as someone who actually earned the respect he's getting. He's not playing the victim. He's not asking for pity. He's dropping receipts, fighting back, and forcing the public to see what really went down. And people are responding, not with blind loyalty, but with clarity, with truth.
Like, you want to assume they're not lying and making stuff up. But sometimes they're over-exaggerating and such, as I think is happening in this situation.
And that's what makes this whole thing so satisfying. Justin Baldoni isn't just standing up for himself. He's standing up for everyone who's ever been falsely accused, publicly humiliated, and abandoned by a system too afraid to question the golden couple at the top. Rogan knows that. That's why he didn't tiptoe around this topic. That's why he said what everyone else was too scared to. Because this isn't just Hollywood drama anymore. This is real justice. And it's happening live. Not in secret. Not behind closed doors. But in front of millions, with Joe Rogan holding the mic and lighting the match. The truth's out. The masks are off. Subscribe for more uncensored breakdowns.